Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good. Clint, I'm Pauline.
Hi, Pauline.
I'm the district operations manager for Alberta, BC, Northwest Territories, Yukon, and Nunavut.
Oh, awesome.
So pretty much the west and the north.
Right.
Um, so I know that you had sent a note to Chris Harland
hmm
about potentially coming back to becoming a dealer with us again.
Right.
So because you were a dealer before I was looking after Alberta, I was actually looking after Saskatchewan at the time.
Okay.
Um, I'm trying to understand what territory you were in because we have a fair amount of dealerships down in southern Alberta, so I wanted to find out exactly where you would
Yeah,
like
where I
to work.
was. And how much do you know about my story with ExploreNet? Has anyone given, is Chris even with the company anymore?
Oh, yes, yes,
Oh,
he is.
okay. I just wasn't sure if he was even still around. I had called him and I don't think his voicemail says ExploreNet anymore. It just seemed to say Chris.
Well, we're no longer ExploreNet.
Right. Yeah.
Explore.
So I still get all the dealer things. I get my stuff from what I can tell has been suspended, but from what I can tell I'm technically still a dealer. At least that's what Chris and all these guys told me. But um so so I've worked with ExploreNet for 10 years and done installs with Jolie Electronics. And
Okay.
5 years ago I was offered a dealer, well it might be more now, through a guy named Jerry, who was running um I guess he would have had your job or someone's. He was a district operations manager of some sort. He offered me a dealer, but at the time, I didn't want to step on John Coleman's feet or toes because he was the dealer
Mhm.
that had worked for years and years and years. And things
Mhm.
were slow, so I started working on the side with CCI Wireless. And
Mhm.
because Jerry Moser had worked with ExploreNet, he kind of knew my deal and knew what was going on with me. So they actually approached me to become a dealer with CCI Wireless.
Mhm.
And so I became a dealer with CCI Wireless. And then, as you know, in October 2021, either 2020 or 2021, they were purchased by ExploreNet.
Mhm.
So I just became a dealer because of that. It just kind of happened. And then when that happened, I had so much knowledge on both sides at ExploreNet. Like I was the one that went and trained a bunch of the dealers from CCI on ExploreNet stuff um, in around Calgary. So I did 20 towers with CCI Wireless all around Calgary.
Okay.
So from Strathmore, I guess around Okotoks, there's a town called Lamond, um, but basically all around Calgary is the stuff I was doing.
Okay. Um, so um, when I'm looking for a dealer, um, I'm looking to have someone in a place that I need some more capacity. Um, I don't have a whole large need for capacity in the Calgary South area. We already have um, 4 different dealers there, plus I have an internal technician.
Yeah. Well, and I assume that might be the case. I guess from everything that everyone told me, that I was still a dealer and that I would kind of, once they got rid of you know, the requirement of a vaccine passport or whatever you want to call it, that I would basically, they could turn my system back on and that I would, I guess, do pickup work in the areas that I was already set up to, and go from there. I mean, I know there's lots of turnover and all kinds of stuff, and I'm not new to the rodeo. I've been in it for 10 years, and I can tell you every time I come in, it's I start with a little bit of work, but I take over a lot because I do a good job, and the customers want to deal with me, and customers. I'll tell you, I still have customers calling me that want me to come do the work, and of course, I have to tell them, "Well, I can't do it right now."
Mhm, mhm.
So it's
Well, it's not, the unfortunate part, Clinton, it's not automatic. My concern is like, if I was to reactivate you, there is no guarantee of work, as you know. I
right.
mean, and because we already have a number of dealers and an internal technician, like priority wise goes with regards to Explore, the internal technician always gets it first and foremost. He works for me. I'm paying for his truck, I'm paying for his gas and all that stuff. So he gets the work first.
And that was a new guy
And
that came in, right?
he has been with us for about a year and a half now, I think.
Right. So he would take over
So
even like High Rivers type work, and so John's work,
yeah,
and
well, he has gone down that far, but then I also have John down there,
yeah.
and he's been extremely supportive and helpful. And then I have a couple other dealers in that area as well.
Mhm.
Um, so and they have multiple technicians.
Right.
So when I've got these guys all, and I look at the amount of work, like I can tell you, we don't have, which is good. We don't have an extreme amount of repair work.
Yeah.
Um, and the one, most of the dealers in the area that needed to be trained on CCI are trained on CCI. CCI is my biggest problem.
Yeah.
Um, those towers are probably 90% of my issues.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the
Um,
biggest headache. So even when I was there, what I was doing, and I don't know if you guys have implemented it as a standard, but it's like anyone who could connect to an ExploreNet tower, that we would switch them because it just made no sense to them to be on a separate network.
that's right.
But
That's
yeah,
right.
but that's what
You
we
know,
were
that's
doing.
that still happens. I just need to make sure that, like, I need to kind of review a few different things to see what my capacity needs are.
Hmm.
Um, I have another guy that's south of Edmonton that wants to join up, and I'm looking at it going like, I don't really need anyone there.
Right.
Um, you know,
Yeah,
if
and I get that, and I'm sensitive to know that, yeah, like you guys can't guarantee it, and you wouldn't be getting a call from me saying, Pauline, why am I not getting any work? What's going on? Because I realize that that's happened, and I realize there's other people in line, but I just rather get in the line, and I've done that before where when I started with CCI, they gave me like 2 towers. They said, "We couldn't give you much, but, we wanna give you something." And in 6 months, there's 20 that I dealt with, just because I know what kind of work, and I know there's turnover for, I mean, your guy in Calgary could quit, or another dealer could quit, or they could move, and I would just rather be in the lineup already to be able to fill the gaps when they are needed. So, I
so
yep.
fair enough. So what else do you do? Like, what does your company do?
I do security, home automation. I do very similar stuff to the things John Coleman does. And I mean, I worked for John Coleman longer than anybody. That's who I started with ExploreNet with. As a matter of fact, I was kind of surprised that no one had called me because, like I said, every dealer, and I know you kind of came in when I don't know, I guess after that I was working with everyone, but everyone I talked to said, as soon as I didn't need a vaccine passport, I'd be called, and I got emails saying, yeah, as soon as we're ready to go, we'll let you know, and you can get back into the lineup. And then I have John Coleman calling me saying, ExploreNet's dropped the vaccine requirement. Can you come do some ExploreNet work with me and come do, some access? Like I do access points. Like so with ExploreNet, John Coleman has done a lot of big camps where we put in 25 ExploreNet dishes, 100 access points, built a full network. And I was the one that started that project with him in 2013 when High River had a flood, and I've done every single camp since then with ExploreNet with John. So I do all that kind of work, whether it's, point to point ExploreNet stuff, or all the satellite stuff, or the large project stuff.
So why wouldn't we activate your XN underneath John?
Well, because I get paid much less, and it took me 10 years to get into the position to have a dealership. So I guess for me, I was hoping I would be able to like I have a meeting with John today. I was gonna go talk to him and see what he thinks, but um I would prefer to have the ability to grow as a dealer. And then I mean, I'm sure John will want me to pick up work for them too. I mean, that's how I've always done it with them in the past, even when I was a dealer for CCI and they weren't part of ExploreNet. I did jobs for them and ExploreNet at the same time.
Okay, all right, well, let me take this away. I'm not gonna drag it out for, weeks and weeks. It'll be a day or two.
Mhm.
Um, the last, couple weeks have been incredibly busy because of our rebranding. Um,
Right.
so, like, let me see how we can, make sure that we take care of things. And well, since you're on video, I'll go on video too. We'll see how we take care of things and make sure that everyone is treated fairly.
Yeah.
That's the big thing for me,
Right.
is I can't take work away from another dealer, right?
Right. Well, I get you, and I guess for me it's a little frustrating. It took you can imagine I worked with John Coleman, and you can ask him about me or go look on their Facebook page on their reviews, and you'll see a whole bunch of them, and they're about me and how as their, you know. Anyways, I just
Mhm,
know I was their strongest technician. I was a master installer. I was the guy who trained their other guys, and so when this whole vaccine thing went, I mean, I worked through the pandemic for 2 years in everyone's homes, with CCI and ExploreNet, and then all of a sudden I wasn't allowed to work. And I have a bunch of health things, heart issues, and some maybe religious views that me and my family, and still to this day, my mom, my dad, my sister, my wife, my daughter, none of us have been vaccinated. And now it's even crazier because it's like we're seeing that my mom almost died from COVID. She was in the hospital and like I mean, they basically told us she was going to die. And it was funny because you get the thing where it's like, should she have got vaxxed or whatever? And anyways, she come out of there and she's like, no, I still don't want to. And so I guess I had this like strong personal family conviction not to do it. And it was the only thing that it blew up my world. I mean, it was like ExploreNet CCI was 90% of my income and
mhm,
I lost it. And it's not like, I mean, I asked my wife many times, like, should I just go get it done? And my wife didn't want me to. And so
mhm,
now it's like, it's just when I hear you say the word fair, to me, it wasn't fair what happened to me because I know, let's put it this way. I know enough dealers and I've been in the game long enough that I know there was a ton of dealers that had installers that were working that were not vaccinated still the whole time. But I feel like I made a mistake by being honest, by saying, "Look, I'm not taking it. I don't want to take it." And I know guys that have been hired in the last 6 months in other dealers, and they were never asked for information to get, you know what I mean? That like that information wasn't there. I actually own a cabin in northern Saskatchewan, Tobin Lake, and I know the dealer there too because I actually had ExploreNet satellite internet there, and he came to remove my stuff, and I'm asking him, if all his guys are vaccinated, and of course it's no, just he was the old guy, and he has a bunch of installers around him working, and it's just like, how did I like? Did I make a mistake by telling the truth, or like how did I like if just so? Anyways, when I hear fair, it's just like I'm so eager. That's why I said I, I'm excited to try to get back to work because I'm about to lose my house over the whole thing. So that's why I'm saying I know you can't take away work from people, and I know you can't do all that type of thing, and I get that, but I know that the dominoes fall always. Like I've worked with TELUS, with Shaw, with Access Communications, with SaskTel, and I do a good job. That I mean, that once I'm in and I'm there, I'll pick up whatever slack needs to be slacked, and if there isn't slack, I'll keep doing what I'm doing. Like I say, I do cameras, I do point to points. I try to help. Like even with us or SaskTel or in Calgary with TELUS, the majority of internet installations aren't done proper in someone's house. And here's what I mean by that. Usually a company like Xplornet or us, we come in and we put in one modem in your house in one area, and your Wi-Fi is good around that area, but the rest of the house doesn't necessarily have access points, doesn't necessarily have it wired properly. And so that's the kind of stuff I've been trying to advertise to do to help people's internet improve. Doesn't matter what carrier. So I'm,
Well, you know that if you were to come and start working with Xplore again, you wouldn't be able to have your own sort of private mesh network. We have our mesh network that you would have to.
I don't have a private mesh network. I'm just saying that Google, for example, has a mesh network. If customers can't install it properly, I'd go help them. And if Xplornet has one, that's great, because it's taken a lot of years. Like it
we do. We have had it. We've had it for quite some time now. All right. Give me a day. You know, let me take a look at some of the numbers and talk to a couple people, and I'll get back to you.
Perfect. Sounds good. So are you from Saskatchewan or Calgary? I see you have a Calgary Stampeders and a Riders football in the background. And
we are
a Stampeders shirt on.
We are season ticket holders for both Regina and Calgary.
Really? Wow.
We just moved from Calgary to Saskatoon.
Oh, okay.
So, but like this past weekend, we were at the Rider game on Friday and we were at the Stamps game on Saturday.
Wow. Well, that's cool. I grew up in Regina, so I was been a Rider fan for years and years, but I moved here when I was 25. So we always went to the Stampeders Riders games for sure over here. So.
Yeah. I'm a Stamps fan.
Yeah.
My hubby's a Rider fan.
Oh, there you go. Cool. Well, that must be interesting. That's fun.
Well, we have a couple games coming up at the end in October. So we have one in Regina and then the last game in October.
The Riders haven't been doing so good, but
nope, they have not. But you know, I'm always hoping that maybe one of the East will end up you know, failing, and then there'll be the crossover.
Oh, can
and
you
then
imagine?
my team will beat Winnipeg, and then we'll be in the Grey Cup together.
That would be the best game ever. That would be exciting to see for sure.
It would be.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time, and let me know. I'm gonna go meet with John and see what he says.
Okay.
I know he's got a bunch of extra work, so I'm gonna go check it
out.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Clint.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, bye.